Mirela Ardelean, welcome. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's very nice to meet you here for the first time. I've been doing a lot of interviews recently, and it seems that everyone I'm talking to are brand new friends. So that's cool. It'll be good to come visit you. You are in Romania, or you're from Romania. Yep. And I wanted to talk to you about this huge conference that's coming up here. This is the EMEA Oracle Groundbreakers EMEA virtual tour. In years past, we used to actually travel there and go to all the different user groups. But since it's still 2020, some of us are not traveling yet. And so, and you're at the center of this because you're the VP of the Romanian Oracle user group. And you're also a board member of the EOUC, which is the EMEA Oracle User Group community, or the Oracle user community. So tell me about the tour. What's going on here? It starts next Friday, I think.
It starts next Friday for 2 weeks. There will be virtual session every day, almost every day, yes. Next Friday, actually the day is hosted by a user group that are doing this autumn one in-person conference. That's the Croatia user group.
Oh, so they're going to be live? Okay.
The conference will be live, but the session that are part of the Groundbreaker tour will be online, meaning that the speakers will be online, but the attendees will be in a room. So it's a kind of hybrid conference for them. But usually the Croatia user group takes part of this Groundbreaker tour, and they are keeping their tradition and want to host some session this year also. And then follows one full week from Monday to Saturday. And in the last week, we have Monday to Thursday. Friday, for the moment, it's not scheduled anything for Friday, last Friday. But if something comes in the last minute, we are open to schedule it.
So this is a multi-week. It's about 2 weeks, right?
Yes, yeah.
And how many?
11 days.
11
actually.
days. Okay. And I noticed, because I was tweeting a little bit earlier about all the speakers, there's like 70 or something speakers.
Yes, around 70 speakers. They are 10 user groups that are hosting the event, plus the EOUC. The user group either have a full day of session or half a day session. There are 3 countries from Central Asia. It's the Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan, and they have the session early morning for the European attendees. So it's plenty of time to schedule session in the afternoon. And Azerbaijan, it's almost the same time zone. So they also have early morning session, and in the afternoon there are user groups from Europe hosting some session. And on Saturday we have the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia user group. They have their event on Saturday, and there are 3 days hosted by the EOC. So like community days, not specific for a user group.
Right. Interesting. So there's a huge geography you're talking about here. And there's a fair number of languages that cross over that geography. So how do you handle not only the geography and the organization of it all, but also the different languages? Is everything going to be in English?
Almost everything will be in English, except of 2 or 3 sessions that will be in Russian for the CAS OUG, CAS Central Asia user group community. And maybe there will be one session in Norwegian for the Norwegian user group, but except of that, everything will be in English. Last year, we tried to have session in the mm, local language, but it was not. We did not have success. Not local speakers. The local speaker did not submit abstracts. So yeah. And
Okay.
anyway, the registration is open for everyone from everywhere. So for the attendees, it's better to have the session in English.
Right.
In our technical world, it's the common language, and even people are not able to speak it very fluently or very correctly. At least the technical presentation, they can understand that.
Right. Right. Exactly. Interesting. How many, for a conference like this that spans multiple weeks, of course, multiple geographies, and how many people do you expect to be involved?
As attendees or as organizers?
Attendees.
Attendees, last year, I think we had about 1,000 individual attendees. So I expect something similar this year.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they actually have been from all over the world.
Yeah.
In the chat at the beginning of session, there were hello from Somalia, for example.
Exactly.
So, and at one moment I mentioned last year that if the things will be better this year, we will do it in person, not virtual. And there were comments from the attendees saying that please do it virtually too.
Right.
But we are in a country from where we cannot travel.
Right. Exactly.
We don't have time, or our manager does not allow us for travel, or different reason. But online we can attend, so it's a benefit.
Yeah, there's no friction online. And I think it's going to be the hybrid model for a while, because especially in your situation, when you have so many different countries with different policies, and so that's going to be that way, probably for a while. So this is a bunch of I was looking at the schedule, and there's a bunch of technologies. I mean, I saw, obviously lots of database and, Java and stuff. So what's the theme this year in terms of maybe the trend of the technologies that that you guys are talking about?
So it's still Oracle database and development. We had some abstract on Java submitted, and we have a day that it's a bit of mixed up, meaning it's also open source and Java, and that's it. But most of the sessions are on database or database development. Just a few of Apex session, well, not a lot of variety. Even the call for paper was advertised that we want to cover, the full stack if it's possible.
Right.
But no. And we are not having tracks, because we have the event organized by local user group. So they select the session. The user group who is hosting one day or half a day are responsible to select the session for their part of the event, what they are hosting. So they are selecting what's interesting for their members.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's not centrally managed. It's a distributed model. It's a massively distributed, so it's going to be slightly different. And it's actually a benefit in terms of the virtual, reality of it. Each local group can get the benefit of hearing many different international speakers. That as we go into the future and hopefully meeting live again, there will be, there will have been some benefit to this whole exercise that we've gone through. Need to get more diversity, essentially, from the different international speakers. All right. Well, good luck with the event. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
And I'd like to shift gears a little bit and talk about community building. Because actually, just some of the issues that we've been discussing so far, running conferences, the challenges of languages and cultures and different geographies and pandemics and everything. You've been involved in this for quite a while. I'm just wondering how you got involved with running a user group. Why do you do it? Is this just something you love in terms of working with communities?
I found out that I love to do, but in the beginning, I did not know. I was in a conference organized by the Bulgarian user group, and I was impressed of how much knowledge I gained in 2 days of conference. Super quality of talk, technical talks, and organization. And the Bulgarian user group is like a big family, really.
Really?
And that was about, I think it was in 2010 or 2011. And in Romania, so Bulgaria and Romania are neighbor country, right? And Romania at that time already had a big Oracle office, and no one knows about the user group. What is an Oracle user group? So I contact leader from Bulgaria. She told me a little bit about it. She put me in contact with someone from Oracle who was responsible of the EMEA user group. And together with another 3 persons, we founded the Romanian user group and start to organize meetups. And I learned that I like it. I like to organize meetups. I like to go to conference. Lately, I started also to speak, but that's not so, I'm not so into that, but somehow it's, I want to give back also on this side to the community. So I'm doing this also. But yeah, that's how I started. And we are doing for Romania for 9 years. We are not a big group, but we are growing, still growing,
really?
Step by step in each year. And having the meetups, 6-7 meetups per year, for the community, for the Romanian community, it's okay. And because of this, I start to have connection with the user group from EMEA. We used to meet twice per year in person. It was just 2 years ago, and make connection with the leaders from other country and start collaboration. The closest collaboration was with Bulgaria because we are close one to the other. So user group from Romania, members from Romania user group went to Bulgaria conference. Romania user group had a training week, and the Bulgarian members came to Romania. So it was a close collaboration between us.
Interesting. I kind of share some of your experience because, I mean, I've done a lot of community organizing, user groups and conferences and things like that over the years. I've done some speaking as well, not so much, just a few sessions, here and there, but it's mostly organizing. And a lot of people, you just don't realize that user groups and conferences just don't happen organically. There is a lot of brute force effort involved.
Oh yeah.
And people think they hear the word. I think some people hear the word community and it sounds nice. People just come together. No, it takes a lot of exactly. It takes a lot of work, and so I'm always interested to hear the perspective of the organizers, because a lot of times in this field we're always talking about technology. We're always talking about the people who are delivering the talks, right? The experts, the engineers, whatever. But we don't often hear about the people who are running the events, and many times they're just as skilled from an engineering perspective or similar as the speakers, but they've chosen to do organizing as their way of contributing. And so I'm just interested to hear that perspective.
It's a lot of work indeed, and when you are doing in-person conference, there are some aspects that you have to consider. When you are doing online, there are others. And if you are organizing a meetup or conference for one user group online, it's not so much trouble, but the Groundbreakers tour, it's a lot of work and headache and synchronizing and trying to not to be late, and it's difficult. It is.
But the benefit is you're right in the middle of everything, and there's hundreds of people. Well, you said there's going to be about 1,000 people there. So, and then you've got all the speakers. So that's another 60 or 70 people, and then you've got the organizing team as well, because it's not just you. There's lots of people organizing.
Of course.
So there's a couple thousand people there, right? Or at least whatever number, hundreds of people.
Yeah,
that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And so that's I've always valued that. It's a process where you can make an enormous number of connections very, very rapidly, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so you just never know who you're talking to when you go to an event. There's a bump into factor where you go to an event, you don't know who you're going to meet, right? But you're going to meet somebody. Every event I used to go to, I used to come home after meeting 100 people. Each one of those people changed me in some way. And so that's what I've always valued about this whole concept of gathering large sums of people around the world. So interesting. All righty. Well, Mirela, it's been great talking to you. I will hopefully get over there someday and continue to do it live.
I really hope that you will come and visit Romania.
Absolutely.
For the Romanian User Group Conference, or for the tour that hopefully will happen sometimes in the future again. And yes, I hope you will come and visit us.
Great. Super. Have a great conference, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And
cool.
Take
All right.
care.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.